Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be talking about my driving experience and my test experience obviously, and how I got on and any tips that I can give you to help your test go smoother and make you feel more confident when taking it. So I had my first test in January the 18th, 2018. And I started driving in September. So I was born on September the 15th, so that's when I turned 17. I had my first driving lesson on my birthday, and I think I'd had 20 lessons, and I'd also had my own car so I could go out driving in that with my parents. So I had about 20 lessons with my driving instructor, and then a lot of hours with my mum or dad in my car, because I used to drive to and back from school, which was about 20 minutes away, and then I drive 40-minute journeys to help my mum if she needed to pick up anything. I would drive. So my first test on the 18th, I had it at 10:14 in the morning, which was a good time. But sadly I failed that one. I got two majors and three minors, which isn't, I know the majors are bad, but the minors aren't actually that bad. The majors, I knew I'd instantly failed. We came up to this mini roundabout and I'd just done it with my driving instructor. And there's a mini roundabout and then there's a mini roundabout after it. And the mini roundabout after it, you can't go in the left lane if you want to go straight on. You have to go in the right lane. Don't know why. That's just how it works. And I got confused thinking that roundabout was the first roundabout, if that makes sense. So I started to go into the right lane, then noticed there was no markings on the floor. So I moved into the left lane, but I was a little bit too late, so I was just kind of in both lanes. And this was literally like 5 minutes into the test. And for the rest of the test, I was so mad at myself, because I was like, I know I've failed, and there's literally no point, because the tests are so expensive. They're literally like £57, something like that. And it was just more money for driving lessons, and it was just such a drag, and it's just so frustrating when you fail, because you know you can drive, it's just on that day what happens and where your mind's at. So I basically had a mind blank, and it was just so annoying. It did help failing the first time. It did help with my second one, which is the one I passed on, because the second one I had it exactly 2 weeks after, which is the legal time frame. I think it's 10 working days, so that excludes Saturday and Sunday, I think. Yeah, so I had it exactly 2 weeks after, on the 2nd of February. I think it was that, or the 4th, something like that. So in my second one, I'd had, between my first and my second one, I had 2 lessons, I think, because I only got 3 minors in my first test. It was clear that I didn't have any problems driving. It was just on the day, me being relaxed and making sure I am all the time concentrated and aware that it is a test. So in between it, I had about 2 lessons, and then a lesson before my driving test. And then, so I got there and I had it at 11:11, which is like a lucky number. So I got there and I got sat nav for both driving tests, because I know 1 out of 4 has to follow signs. So I got sat nav for both driving tests, which I was so happy with, because I'm not good at following signs at all. I had a lady this time. The first time I had a man who was very quiet, didn't speak at all. But then my friend had him a couple of weeks later and said that he was really talkative, and she passed on that one. So maybe if you pass and he knows you pass, like he knows you're gonna pass, he's really talkative, and if he knows you failed, he doesn't talk at all, which I guess is like okay, and I guess that's like understandable, because you don't want to like build a relationship with someone if you're gonna have to break the bad news. So yeah, he wasn't really talkative, which kind of did make me a little bit more nervous, because it was just silent in the car and I felt very awkward. But then the second time I had a lady and she was very chatty. Like I felt relaxed because she was talking to me, she was laughing. We both had a cold, which we bonded with about the cold and about strepsils and stuff. So instantly I felt relaxed. I didn't feel like it was a test, but I was still in my head aware that it was a test. And obviously because it was my second time, I was a lot more relaxed and I was a lot more chilled about it, me not passing. Because the first time I was so devastated that I didn't pass, because I just felt like I'd done so much work for nothing. But then the second time I was like, if I don't pass, I can do it again, it's fine. There's no, don't beat myself up about it. So I went in with that attitude, but I also went in with the attitude that I am going to pass. The first one I was like, oh, I don't think I'm going to pass, because none of my friends have passed first time. They've all passed second, third, fourth time. So I was like, I went in the attitude like, I'm not going to pass, I know I'm not. So the second time I was like, I'm going to pass. There's no reason why I shouldn't pass. As long as I keep my eyes on the road, think about what I'm doing, I will pass. And that was the best thing I think I did, and like for preparation. So obviously you have to remember your show me, tell me questions. For that was really easy for me. I'd revise as much as I could, because that is really like the safety blanket that you think, because you can't revise for your test like visually. All you can do is drive as much as you can. So on my second test, I got 0 majors and 6 minors, which I was so happy with, because I convinced myself throughout the test that I had failed. Like, oh, it was awful. Like, I was so sad, but like obviously she was talking to me, and like sometimes when I didn't want to talk and I just wanted to concentrate, I would just like reply one word answers, not rudely, just like, yeah. And I think she'd get the message I didn't want to talk, and then I'd like start the conversation back up again when I was ready and I was more steady on the wheel, and you know, all that jazz. We got into a roundabout, and my instructor always told me if the second exit is past 12 o'clock to indicate and go into the right lane. So I don't know why, but I was still in the left lane. I just don't think I thought about it. But I still indicated, and then I realised my mistake as I was going around, that I shouldn't have indicated, because it was a mini roundabout as well, and I shouldn't have indicated, because I was an exit after that as well, so it would show people that I was going to the third exit when I just wanted to go to the second. So I took it off and did it to the left signal instead when we'd basically gotten to it. And I only got a minor for that, but I was so convinced that I'd failed. And when she told me the news, I was like, oh my gosh, thank God. It was the best feeling. I was buzzing. If you check out my driving test vlog, you can tell afterwards I am ecstatic. But yeah, so I passed my test on I think it was the 2nd of February. The test centre was fine, they were lovely. There was no issues or anything like that. It was straight in, straight out, done. It felt so short. Like, I'd finished the independent driving and I'd literally have like 10 minutes left, and I'd be like, after the independent driving, we would head back to the test centre, and it was just like, what? Like, it's already over. It felt so weird. Tips that I have for anyone about to take the test is, the first one, if you have got a few months before your test, drive as much as you can. Like, if you're not insured on someone's car, get insured on someone's car. Like, if you can, like, if it's available to you, do it 100%. And if you are insured on someone's car but you're only driving like once a week, drive more than that. Get as much hours in as you can, because that's experience on the road. Even if you're going the same route every time, or you're literally going like a 2-minute journey, drive, because you don't know what you're going to be faced with. The second tip for me that really worked well was just watching videos like this, like listening to what people and how people dealt with their driving test. And like, obviously it's a massive thing for someone if you're about to do it. Like, it feels like, for me, I felt like I was never ever going to pass. I felt like it was impossible to pass, because everyone's so strict on things, and like, obviously they will be because it's a car. The third is, don't worry about it. For my first test, all night was up, like I was awake, I couldn't sleep. I was like, kept on replaying scenarios in my head. I was fretting so much. But my second test, I was calm, I was listening to meditation when I go to sleep, classical music, and it just like puts me in a zen and just helped me go to sleep. And then in the morning, I wasn't too like, about it. I was just, okay, I'm gonna have a test and there's nothing I can do about it except for do my best. My fourth tip, is it fourth, third? I think it's my fourth. My fourth tip is, When you get to the test centre, for me anyway, we sat down and waited for the examiner to come out at the time of my test, obviously, and like take all my details, and then we'll go outside. So what I did both tests was just go into the toilet and just have a breather and like regather myself and like my thoughts, and just try and like calm myself down a little bit. That really helped for me, because when I sat in that room it was so daunting. There was like posters everywhere, there was other people in the room who were pooing themselves just as much as me. So for me to just go into the toilet and just be on my own for a minute, like just around nothing and just white walls, just really helped me just get into the zone and just power through. My 5th tip is, when you're driving, although you want a conversation, well, some people want conversation, some people just like driving in silence, but I would always when I was learning drive listening to music, because it would calm me down, and like if I was in a situation I would like just sing the lyrics, and it just kind of, I don't know why, I'd still do it now, but it just got me through. Yeah, even though you may want to speak to the examiner, still remember that they're obviously not your friend, and like if you do something wrong they're not going to be like, oh, it'll be fine, we'll just forget that happened. They will have to mark you down on that. So just remember that it is still a test, and you do need to have your eyes on the road at all times, focusing. You don't want to miss anything for some stupid mistake, you'll just beat yourself up about it. So just stay concentrated on the road, but still like have a laugh with the examiner if that's what they're like. You don't think I have any more tips. Oh, this is a really weird tip, but I always drive in the same shoes. Well, like for half the time I drove in one pair of shoes, and then the other half I drove in these other pair of shoes when I got some new shoes and I really wanted to wear them. Even in my instructor's car I would wear the same shoes, and for me I just felt like when I put them shoes on I was like in driving mode, and like they were familiar for me, because sometimes when you've got different shoes on, like if they've got a thicker sole you'll press down on the accelerator a bit too much, or maybe not take off the clutch or whatever, and you might stall. So as long as you feel comfortable in what you're wearing and your shoes, I feel like you'll have less to worry about, if that makes sense. I hope this helped some of you guys with driving and like confidence and stuff like that. The first time I drove alone was so weird. Like everyone thinks, oh, like when you're about to pass your test, you're just like, I can't wait to be able to just drive alone in the car. It's so boring. I'm always like, I never want to drive alone. It's just so boring, because all you do is listening to music and you're just with yourself. But it also means that when you can turn music on really loud and just scream the lyrics, which is what I always do, and I love it. So I think that is everything. I hope you guys learned some tips, found my story interesting about my driving tests. I don't know, I had a good experience. I know some people, like, I watched one video where this guy told his examiner to get out the car or something because he didn't have a good time. But if you're ever in that situation, just remain calm, pull over and just speak to your examiner, because they will listen to you. Yeah, just remain calm, enjoy it, because you're driving's fun-ish. So yeah, good luck on your driving test if you're about to take it. You'll be fine. I will see you in the next video. Literally, I'm probably just like blabbering on, so I'm sorry if this video is like extremely long and makes no sense. I tried.